Why would Ohtani agree to a 1-year, $30 million deal this weekend? It seems pretty low. Thank you for asking that question. Let's talk about this because this blew my mind. I'm sitting around minding my own business this weekend, sort of trying to figure out which games I'm going to watch, what movie am I going to watch, trying to recover from Blonde. And I recovered by watching the first episode of Dahmer. I'm not sure that's a recovery plan. I could definitely use a recovery plan. I'm going to study that. I'll be back to you. I'm going to study what I should do to recover after watching a bad movie. I've got a few suggestions. We'll get into that later. And then all of a sudden, beep, beep, beep. That's my phone code for SOS, like something's happening that will warrant your attention. Shohei Ohtani is the likely runner-up in the MVP race to Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani is going to get a first-place vote, at least, should win the MVP. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball and one of the best hitters in baseball. Yeah, both, that guy. Yeah, we've done it. You've seen the clips that Coke has cut on the MVP race. Shohei Ohtani has been with the Angels for 5 years. Next year is his last year with the Angels before he becomes a free agent. He has 1 year left. Remember what I told you the first 3 years that you're in baseball? The team gets to tell you what you're going to get paid. The second 3 years you're in baseball, you have to agree with the team what you are going to get paid. And if you can't agree, then you go to something called arbitration. And in arbitration, 3 people listen to a case as laid out by the team, listen to a case as laid out by the player, and then the arbitrators decide whether or not that player will get paid what the team wants to pay him or what the player wants to get paid. Not in between, one or the other. That's arbitration. That's the second 3 years. Then the 7th year, you're free as a bird. You can play wherever you want. For whatever amount of money the market will pay. You're worth $100 million a year, you can get $100 million a year. You're worth exactly what one owner is willing to pay you and the number of years that they're willing to pay. That's how it works. In arbitration, when you are arbitration eligible for the very first time, for the first time, when I looked into your wallet, thank you, Kenny Loggins, you have to compare yourself with other players and what they got paid in their first year of arbitration eligibility. So when Aaron Judge becomes a first-year arbitration-eligible player, he couldn't look at Barry Bonds and say, hey, that guy was making $20 million. Mookie Betts made $25 million. I deserve more than that. Nope. You can only compare yourself to players and what they got paid in their first year of arbitration. Second year, same. Third year, totally different. The rules in baseball state, the rules of arbitration are clear. When you are in your last year of arbitration, your final year before free agency, when you are coming up with player comparables that you would argue in the room against the arbitrators, against your team, you are allowed to compare yourself to any player. Max Scherzer makes $43 million a year. I'm better than Max Scherzer. I deserve to make $44 million a year. Aaron Judge signs a free agent contract for $52 million a year. I'm a tick under Aaron Judge in power, but boy, can I pitch. I'll take $49 million. Do you have that? No feedback from an empty studio audience, just a camera, me, and Coke in the ear. It is an unbelievable thing for the player to be able to compare himself to anybody else in baseball. The highest amount given for any player in his last year of arbitration was a deal given to Mookie Betts by the Dodgers for $27 million. Shohei Ohtani can now say that he's gotten the most of any last time, third time arbitration eligible player. He got $30 million. That's amazing. People are going to say, he made $5.5 million this year. He's making $30 million next year. Holy crikeys. That's a $24.5 million raise. That's the greatest raise in the history of arbitration. I don't care. It's October 3rd. I spoke to a few people who I worked with in the world of baseball, some on the Marlins, some on different teams. We could not think of another player who settled an arbitration case in October. Certainly not a player like Ohtani. Why exactly did this happen? Oh, Common thought says, well, the Angels are selling the team, so they wanted to make sure they had cost certainty for what Ohtani would get because that would impact the price of the team. Horse hockey. Shohei Ohtani's one-year arbitration deal, whether it was $30 million or $50 million or $70 million, would not impact the sale of the team one iota, period. Shohei Ohtani not being signed because there's no decision in arbitration until next February, impacting the sale of the team? Absolutely not. More buyers saying we want to pay more now that he is signed, we would pay less or want to pay less or could pay less. Zero. Okay, get rid of that one. We want to take care of our player. We want to show our player that he's coming back and we're not accepting this level of mediocrity. We want him to have an off season where he can just focus on being him and doing whatever he wants to do and not worry about the process. What? That would be your reason? And you only offered him 30? Shohei Ohtani's point of view. I don't like the arbitration process. I want to buy a house. And I want to give money to my family. And now that I know that I've guaranteed $30 million, I can go ahead and do all that. He could have gone out and gotten a bank loan or a loan from his agent easily. You do not sign a contract below your worth because you need the money. Now, there are young players who do that, who are unproven. That's what young rookie deals are done, especially to players who come from nothing and they want the life-changing guarantee. That's how teams, in theory, in the old days, could take advantage of poor players. Now that's gone. All the young contracts that are being signed from the Tatises on even Acuna, by the way, even though he's been playing great, those contracts are not team friendly. Not. 3 knots means not. Everyone says it's the greatest team-friendly deal. The Braves have the most team-friendly deals of all time. Okay, why don't we go ahead and match what Acuna would make every year in arbitration versus what he's getting paid? But we can talk about that another time. So the Ohtani says to himself, let me guarantee the money. Inexcusable. All right, what's another reason? So I thought about this. There is another reason. What if he's HURT? That could be. Maybe he's feeling a little something in his elbow. Maybe he's feeling a little tired. Maybe he's worried that he can't go 2 ways next year. Maybe coming back from Tommy John, there was another little something, even though he's still pitching. That would be a reason to lock something, a fully guaranteed deal, because if he got hurt during the offseason, it would, in theory, impact the arbitration, though it's not supposed to according to the rules, but it could have. That's a possibility. How about another possibility? This was all part of the side deal signed by Moreno and Ohtani when Ohtani came to the Angels. Perish the thought, even though it's something we've been talking about for years inside the industry. That could be. What else? What if the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, as part of the sales process, have decided they're going to do a complete rebuild and they want to trade Ohtani? And Trout. But let's start with Ohtani because Ohtani doesn't have a no-trade clause. Except he got a no-trade clause. Isn't that amazing? They gave him a 1-year, $30 million deal, and they gave him a no-trade clause to every team but the Mets. Interesting. So in any case, is he easier to trade because now he's signed? Folks, it's being reported wrong. Number one, he did not sign a contract extension this weekend. Absolutely not. Number two, he's not newly signed, guaranteeing he'll be an Angel. Players who are arbitration eligible are a part of the team. They're already under contract. It's called the tender date. When you tender a contract to a player, that player is yours. You just don't know what you're going to pay him yet. It doesn't make him easier to trade because we know he's getting paid 30 versus 40 versus 50 versus 20. Anyone who's trading Ohtani for Ohtani has to give up tremendous assets to get a player who is a year away from free agency. His value is less today than it was yesterday. It's more today than it will be tomorrow. The closer a player is to free agency, the less you will give up to that player unless you've tampered and guaranteed a free agent signing. Guaranteed a contract extension that keeps him with you. Like, remember when Paul Goldschmidt was traded to the Cardinals? and he immediately signed an extension? Do you remember when Matt Olson was traded to the Braves and immediately signed a long-term extension? Do you think that those just come together like, oh, nice to meet you, let's start negotiating. Oh, good, we're done in 10 minutes? That's not how it works. There's total tampering that happens. There's total negotiation that happens. So my message to you, Shohei, is this. There's no way that you should have signed that contract unless you feel like you'd rather be on the highway to a different part of town to a different team. And even then, you should have waited. Shohei Ohtani, $30 million, settles arbitration. It's October. I can't even believe that. Is the no-trade clause fake news? That is not actual. You can do a 1 year. So the way it works, just so you know, that is incorrect, Coca. He's telling me you can't have a no-trade clause in arbitration. The arbitrators, if it goes to arbitration, you are not allowed to have anything other than a standard contract. So that's one of the things that we hold over the head of players who want to go to the room. We say if you go to the room, there's no bonuses for MVP or Cy Young. There's no bonuses for anything. It's just a straight contract. That's what the arbitrators choose. There's no trade clause. There's no nothing. But if you settle and don't go to the room, then the contract can have any provision you want. You can have a suite on the road. You can have a no trade clause. You can have bonuses for Cy Young, MVP, anything. So by signing a deal the way they did with Ohtani now, he very easily could have gotten a no trade clause for that one particular year. Did he? Did he not? Could be fake news, could not. Obviously, I've not seen that contract come down the pike yet.